One Piece, top 5 One Piece characters. And this, number 1 would have to go to Aokiji. Kuzan is probably my favorite character in the series thus far. It's probably my favorite character because of his demeanor, because of how he was presented. He's just funny. He's one of the admirals that are more lenient to letting people escape and all that stuff. I mean, the man was riding a bike on the ocean. If that's not a feat, I don't know what is. The man was riding a bike on the ocean, and he's consistently been pretty much relevant to the story. If you think about it, he's actually been pretty relevant. Every time he's been shown, it had to do with the story. So I think he may actually have a very big part in the story towards the end, because now he left the Marines, and there's been a lot of hype over that. He left the Marines during the time skip. We saw him, his leg, I don't know if you guys saw film Z, but his leg was pretty much destroyed in the 10-day fight with Akainu. And right now he's more of a mercenary. Right now he's more of just a wanderer, you can say. He's more just wandering the seas. We don't know what he's legitimately doing, but I believe Smoker or Doflamingo mentioned that he may be working with the underground market. He may be working with the people in the underground and stuff like that. So he may have ties down there. Maybe he's even with the revolutionary. Who knows? But I think Kuzan is probably my number 1 favorite character in the series. Number 2 would probably have to go to NL. I have to give it to NL. Now, I don't like NL because the only reason I didn't really vibe with NL is because of the cockiness. The cockiness was like weird to me. Like I didn't like that. That was his downfall, if you think about it. Him being cocky and thinking that he was God, that was his downfall and why he pretty much lost against Luffy. That was his biggest downfall. If he took things into consideration, if he thought more, he would have won that fight easy. So I feel like NL is probably my second favorite character in the series. He's done a lot. He's very strong. And I think, once again, he's probably going to come back in the series later on down the road. And he's probably going to be even stronger, if not top 5, top 10 strongest characters in the series. Number 3 would probably have to go to Luffy. Luffy probably be number 3. Now, it's very rare. It's very rare for a main character to be in my top 5. And why I say that is because everyone is supposed to like the main character. Now, when I say supposed to, the main character should be appealing to you. It should be the reason why you're into the series itself. If you don't like the main character, if you hate the main character, it's going to be very difficult for you to follow that series because it revolves around that character. Now, you may dislike some characters, but you could put up with them. But it's very rare for me to put a main character in my top 5. Because I feel like it's a default for you to like the main character. You know, that should be the reason why you're into the series itself. And amongst other things. But, once again, you know, it's very rare for Luffy to be in my top 5. Naruto, Gon, any character, Goku. It's very rare for them to be in my top 5. But I'm going to put Luffy in my top 5 right now. Luffy goes at number 3 of my favorite character list. And I don't have much to say about Luffy. You know, Monkey D. Luffy is the strongest, one of the strongest characters in the series. He's very funny, very smart, etc., etc. It's Monkey D. Luffy. Number 4 goes to Dracula Mihawk. Now, Mihawk is very slowly creeping up to my number 1 spot. Mihawk, the suspicious behind Mihawk. We don't know what this man is about. All we know is that he's cool with Shanks. That's his biggest feat right now. His friendship with Shanks. And that's pretty much all we have about Mihawk. He travels the seas alone, just like Aokiji does. He travels the seas alone. He went from the Grand Line he went to New World, the Grand Line. He even destroyed about 50 ships, 1,000 men, because they awakened him from his slumber. Like, Mihawk is a beast character, and if you don't like Mihawk, I don't know what is wrong with you. He's beast, easy. And number 5 has to go to Zoro. Zoro is number 5, and I really like Zoro. I just put out a video about Zoro. If you guys caught it, go to my channel and check it out and subscribe. I just put a video out about Zoro. I think Zoro is probably a very strong character, and I think people really sleep on him intentional. I think people intentionally don't like Zoro. They intentionally don't like him because I feel as though swordsmen have an edge in the series. The swordsmen have especially if you have haki. If you're a haki wielder and you have a sword, you're probably going to be very strong depending on what your skills are at. So I think it's a default for people to not like Mihawk, to not like Zoro, because they have these swords and they're very dangerous and they could oppose Luffy. We saw what happened in Marine 4 when Luffy tried to go at Mihawk. So swordsmen in this series are probably not the most liked characters because of what their potential is and what they can actually do. Swordsmen are probably going to be the strongest in the series, and I very feel strongly about that. And I feel like Zoro think about it. You can say the same thing about Killer, but we'll leave that for another day. Zoro was a supernova, apart from Luffy. Not only was this man, he was part of Luffy's crew, but he was a separate supernova. And you can say the same thing about Killer too, but you know that just speaks number to Killer being strong, and if you don't see it, because he's a separate supernova too under Kid. So I think these separate supernovas, you have to keep an eye on Killer and Zoro. They're a supernova and they're in a pirate crew. You would think it would just be Luffy and just Kid. No, but they specifically set them apart. So once again, I think Zoro is going to be extremely strong. Swordsmen are going to be extremely strong in this series. So take that as you will. But leave your comments down below. What are your top 5 favorite One Piece characters? What's your top 5 characters, period? So let me know down in the comment section below, and we'll argue it, and we'll, as usual, I'm Ed, man. I'm out.